Hello everyone. So today I wanted to share with you some books that I plan on reading in September. So I have not been around much at all in August on BookTube, on Instagram, like anywhere. Basically, I think I only recorded one video in all of August, and that was the Fall Into Reading Challenge announcement. And that was only because, I had to because I was hosting the challenge, and obviously I want to host the challenge, but August was just a really hard month for me. So I apologize if you haven't seen me comment on anybody's videos because I just haven't been watching YouTube. I haven't really been doing much of anything in August because at the very end of July, we found out from our school district that they weren't going to wear masks. And so we decided at that point to homeschool both of our kids. So one who is starting preschool and one who is in first grade. And so I had to very quickly come up with the curriculum for the year and gather it and get ready to start school because I wanted to still start school by the end of August to kind of keep with the schedule. Since they'll be going to public school next year, I want them to be able to end at the right time, at the end of May. So this month has just been a lot for me, so that is why you haven't seen me, but I will hopefully be back in the rhythm starting in September because I did all that. I did a lot of work at the beginning of August, really getting everything together so that now we have started school, things are going well, and I planned for the entire year, so now it should be as smooth sailing as any schooling is, but we're all set. So that's why you haven't seen my face or see me in your comment section or on Instagram or anything for the past month. But now I'm just really excited about September because there are so many readathons and readalongs and things like that that I want to participate in. So I wanted to do a TBR video because I don't always plan out a TBR, but because there's so many things to get involved with, I just already started gathering books and I'm ready for that month. So first off is the challenge that I'm hosting, and I'll link our announcement video down below in case you missed it, and that is the Fall Into Reading Challenge, which runs from September through November, and that one is we're just reading a variety of genres and authors and things like that. And I'm not going to do a specific TBR for that challenge. I'm just going to fill in the books as I go wherever they fit, and if I get to mid-October and see I'm missing certain genres, then I'll just pull those genres specifically. But for now, I'm going to go along with the other readathons in terms of what I pick, except for the fact that we are doing a group read each month. So I will be reading A Wizard of Earthsea by Ursula K. Le Guin from September 13th through 17th. We did shorten it. Originally, we had said 13th through the 19th, but since this is a short book and only has 10 chapters, we decided to do it in 5 days. So I'll link all the information about the challenge and the group read, but if you want to join us, you can contact me on Instagram or any of the hosts and we'll sign you up. And this is a fantasy book that I believe is kind of a magical school setting. This is known as kind of classic fantasy, so I definitely want to read it, but I just don't really know much about what it is, but it is fairly short. Like I said, we're only going to do it in 5 days, so that's for the Fall Into Reading Challenge group read. And then also starting in September is a read-along that is happening for, I think, many months, that is being hosted by Cara from Wild Book Garden and Hana from Lynn Hermione, which is a blog. She has a blog and an Instagram, but Cara also has a YouTube channel, and they are reading books by Frances Hardinge. And I own a couple Frances Hardinge books, and I've really wanted to read this author and have been interested in her work. And so I went out and bought a few more because I found them cheap on Book Outlet so that I could join into the read-along. So they're reading one of her books every month until I don't remember how long it lasts. I think it lasts almost till the summer. So the first book they're reading is Fly By Night. And I don't know what this book is about because I actually didn't read the synopsis of any of these books. I just thought it'd be really fun to participate in the read along. But I do know that Frances Hardinge writes fantasy, and they kind of fall on the line in between middle grade and young adult, and that sometimes they involve some creepy things and stuff like that. Lots of mystery and fun. I think it kind of is a mix of whimsy and spooky and things like that. So she sounds right up my alley. So I went ahead and bought this one to try it out. And the live show for this one, I think, is midway through September. So this will be read towards the beginning of September so that I can participate in the live show. And another readathon that I want to participate in is hosted by Naomi's Bookshelf. There's a few other hosts, but I only know Naomi, and this is reading 30 books in 30 days. But the difference in this one is that they are focusing on short fiction. So the books have to be under 100 pages. So it's more like short stories, plays, essays, things like that that are short. And actually they don't have to be fiction. So it can be nonfiction essays and things like that as well. And so I wanted to do where I kind of read one short story every day of the month in September. So I'll be reading the other books, but then I can actually get through some of my short story collections. So I have a few on my shelf and a few on my Kindle. So some of the ones that I might pull from are, I have a collection of Oscar Wilde's short fiction, and this has both short stories and I think also poems and things like that. So it's a wide collection. And then I have the Jungle Book, which is pretty popular classic, but I think this has like 7 stories in it. And then I also have a complete works of Edgar Allan Poe, both stories and poems. So I don't know that I will necessarily read like, you know, all of these, but maybe I'll read all of the Jungle Book because there's only 7, and then just read pieces of Edgar Allan Poe and Oscar Wilde. Like I said, I also have some on my Kindle. I can't remember what they are offhand. I also have some plays that have been sitting on my shelf for a long time that I thought I might intersperse with some of these short stories because they're under 100 pages, so they should go pretty quickly. I have several Shakespeare plays. I just happened to pick up 2. I have Macbeth and Twelfth Night here, though I might fill in different Shakespeare plays, but these 2 are the ones I know that are under 100 pages, but if it's a little over 100, I think it'll be okay. But these are actually the 2 that I've owned the longest of my Shakespeare, so maybe it's good that they are the shortest and I can just actually read them this next month. And I also own The Laramie Project, which is another play that I've owned for several years. So it'd be nice to read some of those plays, some of those short stories, and just do one a day to kind of break up some of the other longer books that I am reading. And then the last readathon that I want to do is Series September, which is hosted by Krista from Books and Jams. And I also think it's hosted by Sarah from Sarah's Nightstand. And it's just about reading series, you know, starting some series or continuing series. And that was a goal that I had for this year, was to finish some of my series. And so this one I had to participate in because I really do want to get through some of the series that I've been reading for several years. And so I'm not going to go through all the prompts, but I fit all of the ones I'm going to mention to those prompts. It's just that some of them fit multiple prompts. So depending on what I actually end up reading, you know, that'll be dependent on where I put it on the prompt list or the bingo board. So if you want the bingo board, I'll make sure to link that video down below. But I'm just going to show you some of the series that I'm hoping to continue in the next month. So I have The Queen of Atolia by Megan Wallen Turner, which is the second book in the Queen's Thief series. I've read the first book twice because I read it long ago enough that I had to like refresh myself a few months ago. So I definitely, this is top priority because like I said, I already read the first book twice. I need to get to this one, so that's going to be top priority. And then the other one that's top priority is Wolfspeaker by Tamara Pierce. And this one also, I read the first book in this series twice for the same reason. It had been so long, I wanted to read it again. So these 2 have to happen because I don't want to end up reading the first book a 3rd time. So those I definitely want to read. And then I have one that I am gonna go back and reread the first book, and that's The Kiss of Deception from the Remnant Chronicles by Mary E. Pearson. And I had read this book, I think 2 years ago, and I just don't, I remember parts of it, but I don't feel comfortable going into the next book yet. So I want to listen to this on audio so I can do it a little faster than when I read it the first time. So then I can pick up the next book in the series of that. And then I have just a couple other series that I'm hoping to continue. I have A Heart So Fierce and Broken by Bridget Kimmerer because I've been meaning to continue this series for 2 years now, I think, since I read the first one. It might be 3, I'm not sure. And then I have The Valley of Fear by Arthur Conan Doyle, and this is the next book in the Sherlock Holmes series that I have to read. And this one, I just read the book right before this one in August, so I am like moving through this series and I just have 2 books left, and these are shorter, so I feel like I should just keep the momentum up and actually finish that series. Like there is one of the prompts is to finish the series, so if I read that one, I could read the last one in the series and then finish that up. And then I have a couple series that I just started within the last couple months, and I just want to keep going. I don't want to end up like waiting 3 years and having to reread them. So I want to go now, continue on them now. And so I have Paula Santiago and The Forest of Nightmares by Taylor K. Mejia. And I read this one, I think just 2 months ago, the first book, and really enjoyed it. It's a middle grade fantasy book, and yeah, it was really good when I read the first one, so I definitely want to keep up and read this next one so that I don't forget what happens. And then I also just like last week read the first book in the Once and Future King. This is an omnibus of the four books in the series by T.H. White, and these are about King Arthur. So I read The Sword in the Stone in August, and the second book in here I think is only 100 pages, so it would also count towards the 30 books in 30 days since it's under 100 pages. And I think it picks up when Arthur is older. Like Sword in the Stone is when he's a kid, and then I think then the next book moves into his adulthood. And then I just have one series that I would like to start, and that is Finding Langston by Lisa Klein Ransom. And I just heard really great things about this series. It's short, so this actually also fits into the short like 30-day books in 30 days challenge. So I thought for a series I'm going to start, why not start ones that are really short little novellas? And so this is the only one that I'm planning on starting. Oh, I do have one other book. I just don't have it physically. I forgot. I have The Wonder Engine by T. Kingfisher, and I am currently reading the first book in that duology, and one of the prompts is to read a book in a duology, and so I figure I might as well just go ahead and finish that duology since I'm reading the first book right now. I could just pick up the second book right away after I finish it. So that's it. That is my ambitious TBR for September, but I don't think it's that bad because mostly it's like finishing some series. I have a couple of the group reads, you know, for Fall into Reading Challenge and for the Frances Hardinge read-along, and then just short stories, basically. So I don't think it's actually that much. It just seems like a lot because the short story collections are big, but I'm only going to read, you know, one story a day. And if I get behind, I'm not gonna like beat myself up, but it's like, it's a good way to like actually pick up these short story collections because I get them and I'm excited about them, but then I just don't always think about picking up short story collections. So this is a good excuse to do that, read some plays and finish some series. So let me know if you're participating in any of these different readathons, readalongs, and all that. I'd love to hear from you down below if you are also going to join in any of these, especially if you're going to do the group read for the Fall into Reading Challenge. Let me know. I can add you to the Instagram group read, which we'll be doing in a few weeks. And I will see you next time. Bye.